today what we're going to be making are Oreo bark. So like always, first thing I need you guys to do is put up your hair and go wash your hands. Hands are washed and our hair is up. I need you guys to grab the following stuff. So in terms of ingredients, I need you to grab your packs of Oreos and 2 bags of white chocolate chips. And then in terms of supplies, what we need is you're going to need a fork, you're going to need a microwave safe bowl. This is for the chocolate chips to go in to melt, so it needs to be a microwave safe bowl. Then you're going to need parchment paper, so wax paper, parchment paper. This is going to be putting down in the tray that we're going to do. So I wouldn't suggest using tin foil, but parchment paper or wax paper. Okay, so to get started, what I need you guys to do is to grab your dish that you're going to use. So I showed you 2 different sizes, so I'm only going to use, actually I'm going to use this size today. So I'm going to use this one. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your wax paper or your parchment paper, and you're just going to measure it out to make sure it fits your container. And then you're going to set it inside. Now yours probably won't fit perfectly because see how it kind of just pops up again. But you're just going to kind of want to push it down and try to mold it to your container, like mine there. And it might take a couple presses, and like mine's kind of lifting up right now, but that's okay because once we melt everything and put it in, it'll weigh it down. So just try to put it in as much as you can. And then second, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our chocolate chips in our bowl. I'm just gonna use my fork to poke it, but you guys can go grab scissors, or you can just break it open with your hands. Okay, so you're gonna add all your white chocolate chips to the bowl. And we're gonna microwave our chocolate chips for 45 seconds. And then what we're gonna do is then we're gonna stir it together. And some microwaves can cook hotter than others. So basically what we wanna just do is we wanna melt all our chocolate chips. So we're gonna start by putting it in for 45 seconds. And then you guys are just gonna keep adding maybe 20 seconds each time to it to make sure that it's melted. So mine were in for 45 seconds and mine still need to be melted a lot. So I'm gonna put it in for another 45 and keep an eye on it. Now, the thing with the chocolate chips is you don't wanna put them in for too long because it'll actually burn and start to stick to your dish. So what you wanna do, and you wanna make sure you keep stirring it because the chocolate might be melting underneath, and once you mix it together, the heat will actually make the top ones melt as well. So I'm gonna put mine in for another 45 seconds and just keep an eye on it. Okay, so if you see mine, see these chocolate chips? As I stir, those chocolate chips are actually eventually going to melt. All right, so I'm stirring mine together, and now mine is totally melted. Take your tray, and you're gonna pour it all in. So pour a little bit in, and then take your fork, and then what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna move it around. So you wanna coat your whole bottom of your tray with the white chocolate. So you might need to add more in depending on what your size of your dish is like. And you're gonna wanna do it evenly, and you just want a thin layer. You don't need something super thick. And it doesn't have to be exactly square or go all the way out to your dish. Okay, so as you guys can see, here's mine. So mine's all spread out on the bottom, and I still have lots of white chocolate left in my bowl. So it's all spread out. Now, this is when you're going to add in the Oreos. So you're gonna open up your Oreos, and you're just gonna now put them on the bottom. So you're gonna take it and you're just gonna plop them in. Now I'm doing 3 across and 3. mine looks like. Now I'm going to take the leftover chocolate that I have melted, and I'm gonna pour it all on top. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my other bag of chocolate chips, put that in the same bowl, and then I'm gonna microwave that as well. So, and what I'm kind of doing with it, when I splattered it on, is I'm just kind of making it even. And then what you're gonna do is when you melt the other bag of chocolate chips, you're gonna wanna cover that whole top there of Oreos so you don't see any more Oreos anymore. So I'm opening up my second bag, and I'm gonna put it in the microwave for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay, so my second bag of white chocolate chips are melted. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pour it on top, and you wanna cover all those Oreos, okay? So after I poured my white chocolate on, as you can see, I'm moving it all around because I don't want to see any Oreos. That is the goal of this. Now if you see a little bit like these guys here, that's okay. If you have more white chocolate, then put it on. If not, then that's fine. So I'm gonna put a little bit more white chocolate on mine. All right, okay, so I think mine is done now, as you can see. And my leftover Oreos that I have, and I'm just gonna take a couple of them. So I'm gonna take 2 for right now, and I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna crumple them on top. Now your hands might get a little sticky because there is icing in the middle of these Oreos, but you're gonna crumple it on top. Now, I only took 2 Oreos and crumpled it. And that's what mine looks like, and I'm happy with just the 2 on there. But if you guys wanna add more, you can. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my finished product here and I'm gonna put it in the fridge. And some may cool faster than others. So we're gonna put it in for 15 minutes, and then we'll keep an eye on it and see if it's hard after that, and we might have to keep it in the fridge for a little bit more. But yeah, we're gonna start by putting it in the fridge for 15 minutes. So now that it's in the fridge, we can do a couple things and tidy up our workstation. So our bags of chocolate chips, our empty bags of chocolate chips can go in the garbage. We can put our wax paper away. We can put our Oreos away. The extras that we didn't use, you guys can eat with your family. And then we just have to wash our fork and our bowl from our white chocolate. And then we're gonna wait 15 minutes. All right, so I took my Oreo bark out of the fridge. Now, how you're gonna know that it's hardened enough is when you're just gonna poke it, and if it still feels sticky, then you're gonna need some more time in the fridge. I'm poking mine, and mine doesn't feel sticky anymore. Mine feels pretty hard. So what I can do is I can take it out of my pan, and then now we can wash our pan if we want to, and just give it a quick rinse, and then put that back. And then we have our bark. So a couple ways you guys can cut this up. is you can take a butter knife or just a regular knife, and cut it up into squares, or because it's bark, typically what I do with my bark is I keep it in the parchment paper and I break it and then I break little pieces off. Then what I've done, so I have my plate, and then as I'm breaking pieces off, you can break them off depending on what size. I'm just gonna put them on the plate. All right, guys, so I crumpled up all of my Oreo bark. I also made them quite big, as you can see, but that's up to you guys on what size you want to make them. And then as I was crumpling them, I was keeping in mind where those Oreos were, trying to make sure that when I break them apart, each piece has a piece of Oreo. Now for the final review, our taste test.